can't run, you can't run. You thought that I disappeared. The man, the myth, the juggernaut, Alex Lexus, coming at you with a podcast. Yes, a podcast after a long, long break. Much deservingly so. I have Shinwar in the other room. This is a joint production between Geeking Out and New Gaming Order. So I'm running through this quick intro. So let's get this started. Alex Lexus is brought to you by FullScreen.net. They're our partners. Make sure you check them out. Yeah. Alrighty, we're turning on the reactor. Intro created by Michael Hurdle of michaelhurdle.com. Make sure you check him out for your graphic design needs. And we're going nuclear. New gaming order. Alright, so with that being done, I'm going to go and get my tag team partner. So I'm tagging in Shin to the wall, Mr. Geeking Out. So for the Geeking Out audience, Shinwar is going to run through his intro, and we're going to get this party started. Mr. Shin, you got the flow.
You got it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Shinwar here with Geeking Out, bringing you the latest and greatest in comics, games, toys, and tech. And it is Tuesday, August 28th, and I got my brother from another mother, New Gaming Order's own Alex Lexus. Give it up one time for him. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Mother lover, what?
Oh, wow. Here we go.
Shinsuke style.
Yeah, man. But yeah, as we were talking earlier about current events in video gaming, as everybody knows, it's been plastered all over the interwebs, all over the news, and we're talking about video games, violence, guns, the whole nine. You know what, let's just jump right into it. Sir, I want to know what your... before I begin, let me just lay the premise for everybody that may not know, but most likely you guys do know by now.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a Madden 2019 video game tournament, I believe in Jacksonville, Florida, this past Sunday.
Yes.
And the incident occurred when, and I don't have the gentleman's name.
Yeah, for those of you Geeking Out audience and New Gaming Order, on this stream I actually have the CNN article in the background, so you can follow along with us. Unfortunately, this very sad turn of events, and I just wanted to let you guys know that. And Shinwar, you got the floor. So as you're talking about it, I'm going to be citing a lot of the information as you go forward.
Thank you. So he was a former champion, and I heard that there was $500,000 on the line. The pot was, and he lost. And in his loss, he got frustrated, very angry. He could not handle the loss, and he goes out to his car, grabs a weapon, a gun, comes back, and just starts shooting. And it wasn't random. He knew what his targets were. But there were other people that got hit, during this. But there were targets. Obviously, the person that he lost to. And then in the end, he killed himself. Very sad, very tragic. There's a lot to talk about. And go ahead, Alex. I see you got something you want to say.
Yeah, his name, David Katz, 24-year-old gamer, native of Baltimore, Maryland. He, some of the backstory with him is he had a history of mental illness. And that's something that we're going to touch on at some point later in this podcast. But, this kid obviously had issues. And, one thing I do want to put out there is I've seen on Good Morning America, I've seen on Fox News and all that, they're trying to blanket this thing like, oh, mental kid, video games. And it's like, this mental illness and video games tend to get lumped into the general hill, which is really wrong. And secondly, you're looking at the state as to which this incident occurred, with the ease of access to these weapons to folks who are mentally unstable, and now you have a recipe for for disaster. Thank you, NRA, and thank you to our current administration who is like, oh well, he's mental, this and that. You know what? Make it tougher for people like him to get access to weapons so that things like this does not happen.
Yeah, I think one of the major issues was, he was able to leave, grab his weapon, and come back. And we've been to events, whether it be a Comic-Con, large video game tournaments, whenever you're coming back into a venue, you are searched.
Yes.
You are searched, and I don't know what happened down in Jacksonville, Florida, but when you are coming back into a venue, most of the times you'll get like an armband. They see your armband,
or you get stamped or something. You
get stamped, right? But you are still searched, and I don't know what happened, but this is very sad. But just wanted to piggyback on what you said, how the media really plasters video games, mental illness, and the violence that took place. And I really have to disagree with the media, and like don't lump them together, because they are two completely separate things. And we dealt with this.
Oh, Shinwa, are you there?
Rating system.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you kind of cut out for a second. Can you repeat that for this side of the house?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, what I was saying was we dealt with this back in Mortal Kombat with the whole rating system.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that whole, they were going to court and they were saying, oh, it's too violent, this and that and this. In this situation, and I believe in the news that they did state that he had prior issues, and he was seeking help, something that I read somewhere. So it wasn't like this just sprung up with this guy.
And it's not that the game triggered him to do it. You know what I mean? Like that's just something that folks need to really be mindful. And Shinwar, if you didn't mind, I see On Your Knees is actually in the chat, and he's usually good on these types of topics. So if you're okay with him joining and adding, so On Your Knees, you can, we'll get the Wyatt family all together if you're willing to come into the Discord and adds to this discussion. We'll get the Wyatt family all together. And who is this?
What happened? You just said to join the thing. I was actually listening.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, I hear an echo on your end. If you could.
No, hold on. I gotta lower the volume.
Yeah. So we're gonna give you a chance to add to this, but Shinwar, you could continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. So we dealt with this back with Mortal Kombat and the whole controversy back then about violence in video games. And not for nothing, this was a football game. You have never heard this happening at a actual football stadium. So this gentleman had an issue. Well, they say mental health, but he lost, and he had an issue with his losing. And don't get me wrong, I've played video games where whether I'm playing against someone else or whether it be the computer, and if I really want to win or whatever, I may get frustrated. And there's been times when I've thrown a controller once or twice. Well, I think it's happened to everybody. Yeah, we've all thrown, but not to the point where I'm like, I want to go shoot somebody. That's wrong.
We are in odd times, One thing, I am competitive, but I've never been that competitive to the point where I want to do harm to somebody. Right. Ever. It's just a game. It's just a game. But you see, we are of sound mind. This kid was not. So it's like we can measure ourselves against him, but it wouldn't be too fair. You know what I mean? Right. So this kid needed help, but this will go and change every event going forward.
This was a catalyst for things to come.
Yeah, because now what's going to happen when you go to Smash Brothers tournaments, you go to Rod Lane's tournaments, you go to these things, there's going to be tighter security. It's going to become like the airports did after September 11th.
Yeah. And you would think something like this, I mean, it's just video games, you see, but now it's, esports and money's involved. So now, people's eyes are on the money. I gotta get it. I gotta win it. I gotta win it. Oh, I missed it. Well, you know what? There's plenty of more tournaments in video game playing down the road. Like, this is not the one.
The one off.
Be all.
Yeah. You know?
So yeah, it was very disheartening just seeing it, and as gamers as we are, it really hit close to home.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I want to add to this before I give On Your Knees the floor. Again, what's going to happen? Like I said, and I'm calling out Good Morning America for this because I was very displeased with some of what I heard. Like, you know, this whole thing where, you know, people who play video games, it's like they're low-key taking jabs like, hey, it's a mental illness. It's not. It's not. It's a hobby. It's an escape for many people. It's not like drugs or anything like that. I mean, it's a passion. It's an art form. It's a form of entertainment, media. And with them trying to paint that as some sort of disorder, it's foul. It's wrong. I wanted to do, during the time we were on a break, I actually wanted to address that and say, hey, you know what? How dare these people take that? It's just like me as a motorcyclist. Oh, yeah, we're a bunch of thugs and all this other stuff. And that's simply not true. It's not true. So shame on you guys in the media that are taking that and saying, yeah, video games are this, that, and the third. Because what I think they fail to realize is the fact that if you're not of the community, don't speak ill of that community.
Yeah, but you know, I think what it is from the people outside looking in, they probably just think like comic book nerds, video game nerds, they're in their mama's basement playing games in their drawers and in their underwear. So there's a thing where it has a negative connotation. And truth be told, there are some people like that. But
who fit the stereotype, yeah.
Right, but that is not the majority.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
That's not the majority. But yeah, just to give On Your Knees, welcome, sirs. Long time, Chris.
Yo, I know, right?
Yeah.
Just want to get your thoughts and perspectives on the incident that took place in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, I didn't even know what happened until I caught a live stream from a guy I watch on YouTube. But going on what you said earlier about people implementing changes, Games Done Quick, and I put a link in the Discord for Alex DePolo.
Okay.
Games Done Quick is already planning lists to prevent people from getting into events. And
that's smart.
They are extremely vague with their terms.
Okay.
Leaving it up to the people running the shows to send the reports up. So let the vagaries commence.
So you know what's gonna happen?
Yep.
That's almost like they do with actually I can't talk about that. I'll give another example for OPSEC military stuff, but you know, you have no-fly lists or terrorist lists and so on and so forth. If you're known to display certain things, yeah, then you're gonna have some issues. You know what I mean?
Or you get certain people that have no business being on there. Just like with the no-fly list, it was the Kennedy that died a few years back. Ted Kennedy was on a no-fly list somehow.
That what?
You know, that kind of shit happens. Yeah, Ted Kennedy was on a no-fly list.
Oh my God.
Was on the no-fly list, but you know that's what kind of happens with that crap.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Me and Alex were talking about, like, you know, there are people that portray certain characters and getting salty, you know, where, you know, let's say we take a low-tier god, you know, he's known for trash talking, but he has never gone overboard like that.
Well, he almost came close with the whole Viscount situation, and that's when me and Nelson, when he was still on the show, where I actually, like, you know, I sent some messages hoping that he would hear that. Because it's like, why are you going to get in that dude's face? He beat you. It's over with. You know what I mean?
Right, but I'm saying to the degree of just trash talking, you know, I think the man has more common sense than that.
Yeah, and you know what? I remember when Mr. Sparrow did respond to me in Facebook some time back, and he's like, oh, I'm just seeing this message or whatever. I wanted to give him an outlet or a platform to kind of explain himself, you know what I mean? Because it would be unfair. Let's say he's portraying a character, low tier god, the character, right? And people are gonna judge him based on that, and it's like, you know what, dude, I get it. He's probably doing like Triple H or WWE or whatever, but somebody who might take that as real could have, like, now we're in an age where people have access to guns. The NRA is not really being, you know, held accountable. Let's say low tier guy was at a tournament, got in Viscount's face, and he was that type of dude, and he pulled out a gun and popped off on him. You know what I mean? Like, really?
Yeah, but no, and I hear you, but I think also with that, with the FGC, which it is video games, but it is a separate community until itself.
Yes.
You know, a lot, you know, we're, I guess, quasi in the FGC, whatever, but we know who's who. You know, a lot of these guys been around forever.
Yeah.
For the longest. You know, and even the young guys coming in, we all know what the deal is. So people been on the grandest stage of them all and have lost a lot when a lot was on the line.
Yeah. But that's where honor and respect and say, hey, you know what? You were the better man or woman at that time. You go back, refine your skills, and come back better. You know?
Right. So, you know, people get triggered at losses, whether in public or in private. But in this case, it was known that this gentleman had mental health issues. And after he did what he did, he turned the gun on himself. Very sad.
Yeah, that was cowardly. Like, face your consequences. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's a common threat too. I forgot when the statistic was rolled out, but at the time it was 20 out of the last 29 mass shootings. All of them were on some mind-altering prescription drugs.
Yeah.
And you know
all
what?
But one.
Yeah.
All but one.
Well,
so that's kind of messed up there.
Yeah, looking at the chat, yeah, T-Rest, basically like a blacklist. It looks as, you know, I hate for that to be the case, but you gotta look for the greater good, and you know, for the majority, you gotta protect them. You know, now Shinwar and I were talking about this on my way home from work. Is, you know, how is this gonna affect Evo? How is this gonna affect all the other major tournaments, Capcom Cup? You know, all of that. You know, they're gonna beef up the security. It's gonna be like going to a concert now. Like, oh, you're gonna get wanded as you're going in and all that. Like, you know, even like the smaller tournaments, do you think they can even afford that kind of security? That can actually hurt some of the events.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree. I think it's more so with the big ones. You know, obviously Madden is, and then a lot of the talk has been with the FGC because, you know, the esports, like, you know, they're in Las Vegas, and we know what happened in Las Vegas, the other incident. But yeah, security is going to be beefed up, and hopefully nothing happened within the FGC. And hopefully nothing will. And then, you know, I pray that this is just a separate incident, and that, you know, there'd be no copycats or whatever, you know, trying to run around. But it's just very unfortunate. And I just don't want, because I'm a gamer myself, all you guys are gamers, that this negative connotation does not stick, because it's not true.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these guys play video games, they're violent. No, that's not true.
Yeah, it's bad enough Exactly, because you know what, they channel their, you know, frustrations. Like, sometimes I would go and play, like, you know, like Gears or something, play Horde mode or whatever, or I would go and play like UFC 2 and start like beating up on somebody, and they're like, ooh, you know, like that's an outlet. You know, now, you know, there was another side of the coin where it was like the ease of access in that state, but that can be a whole podcast onto itself. But
he got the guns from Maryland, actually, from what I really heard.
You see, yeah, because now it's like a lot of the layers, you know. But he got the guns from Maryland, granted, but down there, you know, they can freely carry. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, it's something where now they're gonna have to really be more vigilant. Like Shinwar was even saying jokingly that it's going to turn into the mutant registration thing, X-Men or whatever, because
yeah, like this was a catalyst for
because if you think about it, what can possibly protect people is if you're going to participate in tournaments, enter a registry, get you verified, and make sure, okay, now you have access. It's going to turn into like Comic-Con. Press registration, and even with Comic-Con, that they're not free from something like that happening either. But they do screen. They heavily screen when you get in there. You know, so it's just now. I was just in disbelief. That hurt my heart to because I thought about Rod Lane, and I was just thinking about that something like that with the way he runs tournaments, where like. I'm thinking now, for those who actually run tournaments, it's gonna. I foresee something happening. I could be wrong. That they're gonna be like, in order to run tournaments, you have to have the minimum security to make sure the people are protected, or purchase insurance and all this other stuff. That can change how everything.
Oh, you know, I mean, they're doing these things at hotels. You know, the hotel may have a criteria.
Yeah.
Or you know, if we're going back to esports, okay, like EA issued a statement about this. So now they're in it because it was their game, because they know like the connotation is attached to the game. So if you talk about these other venues and other companies involved, Capcom, Street Fighter and Bandai, all these big titles, yeah, everybody's watching now. Believe it or not, people are watching. And going back to what you said about Comic-Con, I mean, you remember when we started out, when they had like actual real life swords being sold at Comic-Con, and now everything's like rubber and
no more swords and no more BB guns. And I was pissed, yeah, because me and Shinwar were supposed to get the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow swords, and this is Shinwar's fault. We don't have them.
I feel the hate here, Alex.
No, I've been trolling him for 8 years over that. Like, I was like,
my fault. We didn't have it. It was so dope. Anyway,
the Sword of Omens, the Rebellion, like all the real replica swords, we can no longer get them. You know?
Yeah. So like, even people that cosplay, like, they had to change it up. Like, it cannot look or feel realistic.
Like, so you can't even like take a wood sword and shape it and paint it properly.
It has to be foam.
Yeah.
It
changed it, yeah.
Yeah, my Link, the Sword of Power, the Zelda sword, I got that from last Comic-Con. It looks good. I mean, it is what it is. I'm collecting them now, but I'm like, man, that really sucks. Because there were inconsistencies too, because I remember when I was trying to get one of my items that I had purchased and we put in the storage at the Jacob Javits Center, one kid was complaining to security, "Oh, I can't bring this." He had a mace with like nails or something.
A real mace. It was
he made it or something. It was like clay and like stuff protruding from it. And he's like, "Oh, I can't bring this in, but this kid is coming in with a broadsword." Like, what? Yeah, I'm sitting there like, okay, there's gonna have to be a general or federal baseline to protect people. And this is like, one of my motorcycle references. My motorcycle, I can do 200 miles an hour on it, but from the factory, it can only do like 170, 180 with the computer restrictions, because if you give people enough freedom, they're gonna kill themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about it, human nature. You got to put control measures over people, because you give them an inch, they're going to take 100 miles on you. And that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
For the intended purposes of our audiences, make sure you comment on this. Let us know what you think. I have my unpopular, beliefs on how some of this can be fixed, but this is a joint venture, so I'm not going to put some of my personal feeding into it. But, Shinwar, if you want to go into the next segment, or if you have more to say, or if anybody in the chat, like T-Risk.
I got two things.
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead, Chris.
First, this was not my original idea, but I think we should refer to him by name, which I don't think you guys did. But if you have to use his name, just refer to him as Bitch Boy. And any other shooters like this, just call him Bitch Boy from then on.
Easy.
Well, considering like the mental issues, he might not have been in control. I can't speak from the standpoint of someone who's mentally ill. Well,
for this particular one, I don't think he did it to be famous. But you got ones like the Aurora shooting with the Batman movie.
Yeah. That one's a bitch boy. You can say that.
But you know what's funny about that though? Like, this guy had the gun already in his car outside of the hotel or wherever it was at.
So basically, he was saying like, "Oh, if I lose, okay, somebody gonna lose something." Like, it seemed like some semi premeditated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if I lose, somebody gonna lose something. What? Like, no.
I just don't think the guy. I think he got too many participation trophies growing up.
Yeah, and then you know what? Failure was not an option.
He was a former champion. Yeah, so that goes to show you, like, and I gotta win.
It's like Daigo getting mad at Takedo, and he comes in there like Sagat with Tiger Shot, with a shotgun or something. Like, what? You don't need all that.
When you're talking about video games, but I think also probably what played a factor too was the money. Was like,
what was the prize money for that?
500,000.
What?
Yeah, it's Madden. It's sponsored.
Yeah.
Shit.
We were talking about that earlier. How certain video games and sponsors, everything. The pots are big now. It's no more $100 pot. No, man, they talking like half a million.
Because esports became a thing. We thought that it wouldn't get to this level, but now it's a thing. It's a job for some people.
It's boring now because a lot of esports venues, a lot of people to trash talk anymore. It's happening with Blizzard in their games, so you can't trash talk anymore.
Trash talking is funny, man. They need to let that fly.
Yeah, I mean, still the underground roots, like some of the certain underground tournaments, they do allow it, but a lot of the stuff like Evo, obviously, everything, it has to be professional all the way through.
Yeah, they acid washed it a lot, but you know.
This goes to my second suggestion I wanted to make. This is provides a perfect opportunity for setting up some type of virtual game competition where people aren't in person. They get thrown their VR headsets and show up on the internet somewhere to have their tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So something to consider
like
for
Ready Player One, that movie.
I didn't actually see that movie.
It's actually pretty good. I gotta finish watching it. But yeah, it's almost like that, like pretty much virtual reality.
Yeah, you don't. It doesn't have to be virtual reality at the gate, but you set up some, try to set up some type of platform to make online tournaments easy, where people can remote in. It's a website like Twitch and log in.
Yeah.
And they sign up. Okay, here's your invite for this tournament, and then they can either, they connect their console, and either they can play right through the browser or connect their console or PC.
Well, I believe they do have that now, actually.
Now, you know what? That's actually going. Remember when Xbox Live actually went live, and then I said that that's gonna kill arcades. Yeah. If that, initiative does take place, it may actually take a chunk into the current esports attendance, but it might increase. Like, hey, you know what? That might be a good thing for those who are suicidal or homicidal. Like, oh, you know what? You play at home. You want to shoot somebody? Shoot yourself. Oh, you want to shoot me? No, shoot yourself. But I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying, like, you know what? Quarantine these folks, man. I don't know. Like, this is depressing. I don't know if you want to change the topic, but
No, that's all I got on this. That's all I got.
Yeah, we just wanted to really discuss and how it really hits home for us, and just really hope and pray that nothing like this happens again.
Yeah.
But shifting gears.
Now, Shinwar, before you do that, that segment has been brought to you by Geeking Out in association with NewGamingOrder and our friend Thumb Thrasher Gaming. Hopefully, he'll come back soon. So, just for those of you, stay tuned. We're still here. And we're going to go right back into the show. Shinwar, you got the flow.
Yeah, just shifting gears here. Just on a lighter note, we got the heavy stuff out the way.
Yeah.
So recently announced was Streets of Rage 4.
I saw that.
Yeah, it looks hot, right? They caught that, bro. The art style, it's like a moving comic book, And it looked like they realistically pushed the story forward. Like, I love how Axel looks with the beard and actually has more of like a modern look as opposed to like the 80s Axel Rose look to him.
Hold on. I'm okay. So when I saw it in action, I don't know.
No, it looks good, bro. Don't be hating.
First of all, the way they drew Axel, he looked like super wide. Like his.
It looked like he got bigger.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, what? He still had like his signature, which were fine.
Yeah.
But I want to see what comes about, because like we've literally been playing Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3 on Xbox One, and then I saw that, and like at first I thought it was fake. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, this is actually happening? Streets of Rage 4? Really?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yo, they caught that. I'm very happy with progression. But it looked like Axel done like got drunk and old and like what? They need to look. They gotta bring back Cody. Yeah. But they really. But Blaze looked like she hasn't got any older. But Axel looked like he got beat the hell up. Like shave the beard or something. You know what I mean? And make sure Adam comes back. Make sure Skates comes back. I don't want Zen back. We don't need that robot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. As we get closer to whenever the release date is, that they're gonna be announcing characters.
Yeah.
Hopefully they really trick it out with some modes. Hey, you never know. Hopefully we get like a 4-player mode or something.
You know what?
I'm watching this, and it does look like Axel has a beer gut.
He does, right?
Don't say that.
One of the frames he's playing, like at the teaser trailer, 37 seconds. One of the angles, he turns a little to the side. You can see he has a gut.
Yeah, he did the signature move with the punch.
The burning knuckle, the uppercut.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, what happened to this guy. Come on, Axel. But hey,
He got old and turned alcoholic. That's all.
Yo, let me tell you, that looks pretty cool. I have to say, you know, I'm doing free shots and such. But T-Risk, I think that Blaze still looks good for whatever age she is. You know, Axel.
Surgery.
I'm just saying, Axel. They went kind of far with the beard. They gotta give him a goatee or something. But you see, now that it's hand drawn, or I'm hoping it's hand drawn, right? 2D, Shinwan.
Yeah, that was.
It looks hand drawn to me.
Oh man, they should have done cell shading, because then they could have done alternate outfits and just changed the outfit. But now when you hand draw it, that's it. You know.
But you know what? I think it's gonna happen just like what they did with Shaq Fu.
Yeah.
I think, like, obviously it's still early. I don't think that's probably the finished product. The way it looks visually, I think they might change it.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at some of the freeze frames. Axel doesn't have the beer gut.
Yeah, he does. If you look, his midsection is like mad wide.
It's one of the screens where his right hand is stretched out for a punch.
Yeah, that's the burning punch, Alex.
Yeah,
Look,
but
see. This man got his stomach, yo.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
What they say he got the dad bod.
Yeah, if they do that to Axel, bro, that's wrong.
It's like, dog, he's still fighting. Come on, man.
All right, you know, so it's digital. The team made Wonder Boy. All right.
What was the developer name? That's the
team that developed Wonder Boy Digital. So.
No, I'm talking about the name. What's the name of it?
All right, so we're looking at Axel right here. They caught that. I have to say, the animation.
Lizard Cube. That's who it is. Lizard Cube.
Blaze doesn't look older, bro. But you know, I could see the reference to the plastic surgery, because her bust size kind of increased. Well.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's her daughter, and she looks just like her.
Yeah.
No, they said it was Blaze. It is Blaze.
Blaze Fielding. Yeah, that's
How
her.
many years after the last one is this?
We don't know. We don't know.
Okay, yeah, it might just be 5 years, for all we know.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. Yeah, but it looks good. It looks good. It gives me that feel like you're playing Castle Crashers, and like the Power Rangers beat 'em up. This game must have online co-op.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm pretty sure it will.
You know, I mean,
not to have it,
because
you know what? I hope that it's going back to Streets of Rage 1 roots and not getting crazy with the cyborgs and androids. That was crazy, man.
Here's the thing: Streets of Rage 1 and 2. I think Streets of Rage 2 had the best soundtrack.
Yeah.
The best gameplay came from Streets of Rage 3. You know?
Yeah, visually, Streets of Rage 3 visually was definitely 10 times better than obviously 2 and 1.
Yeah, but the Streets of Rage 3's music was horrible, trash, terrible. Like you can get the arranged remix of Streets of Rage 2's music and bang that out of a sound system and not miss a beat. But Streets of Rage 3, forget about it. It was terrible.
Tell us how you really think about it, Alex.
No, listen, there better not be a stage in the club with those lights. They're causing epilepsy. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. That's like, what the heck? But you know, I'm very happy. That's like some good news. Oh, but you know what? In gameplay, I see that belly you guys are talking about with Axel. Oh my God! Like really?
Yeah. I think it's He needs to go on a diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like he was at a bar and Cody cleaned up and Axel went the other way.
Wow.
Come on. And you know what? Capcom was petty as hell, because they made one of the goons in Final Fight, Axel, and he looked just like Axel from it's like you're beating him up. Like what? Come on.
For people that don't know, Streets of Rage predates Final Fight.
Well, what started it all was River City Ransom, and then
Right.
from River City, then River City Ransom. Well, Double Dragon was supposed to be a spin-off or a sequel, but they went in another direction with it. So Double Dragon became its own thing. River City Ransom kept going, and then you got the birth of a genre, the side-scroller beat-em-ups, and in the 90s, golden era, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, X-Men. You had so many different beat-em-ups like AVP. You know, I mean, you could get like a beat 'em up out of almost anything, and it was great. You know, that's
The Simpsons. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, they make that backwards compatible on Xbox Live. I still have it on my 360.
Those games were meant to just take your quarters. That's all they were.
Yeah.
Quarter munchers. Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
Well, they caught that. But you know what? Shout out to the homebrew community, Open BOR and Sunil team. Those guys, I think that they forced Sega's hand in this because you had a lot of people doing homebrew games that were better than what some of the companies could have conceptualized. Because Streets of Rage 4, the high-res demo that was running around, man, let me tell you, that junk was awesome. Oh, and I forgot to add Bad Dudes, which T-Risk conveniently put in there for us. Yeah, Bad Dudes was cool. Bad Dudes was some good stuff. I mean, there's a whole list, and I know there's a playlist out there talking about every best beat 'em up that came out of the 90s. So I would say go check that stuff out. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. Is there a release date pending for this game?
Not yet, to my understanding.
I don't think so.
Man,
it just got revealed recently.
Well, it looks kind of early because you only see 2 characters. So
yeah.
Now I would say this: Comic-Con should be fun this year. We'll probably get to play Devil May Cry 5. Probably play a working demo of Streets of Rage 4. So it's some good things to look forward to. So
yeah, and speaking of that, there's quite a few games that's actually dropping starting next week or in 2 weeks. And just quickly, I wanted to talk about Spider-Man, which is really big. Everybody's waiting for it. I mean, it's to the point where Insomniac Games community manager was like, "Hey guys, the game is at the distribution center. Like, I've seen pallets of the game already at the distribution centers," and he's like, "Hey, once you get it, the embargo was lifted on September 4th, so just be mindful of spoilers and everything." But I'm excited for it. It's gonna be so dope. Like, I've never seen a Spider-Man game this anticipated before. And before anybody says about the whole being exclusive, I don't agree that it's exclusive for PS4, but I am a Spider-Man fan and I will play it. But I got into a conversation with someone on social media. Can you guys hear me?
yes.
Okay. I got into a conversation and somebody pretty much was like, "Oh, the reason it's exclusive because Sony owns the rights." And I'm like, here we go.
Movie rights, not gaming rights. You know.
So I that's exactly what I told him. So he sent me an article from 2016, basically saying it was pretty much Insomniac saying, "Well, it's Marvel's character, and it's just for this game that it was licensed out to Insomniac to do, but Sony put up the money so they could have it exclusive to them." And so I tried to.
So they bought the game pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. And so I'm just like, if that was the case, then if Sony had the rights to the quote unquote video game license of the character, then how come games like Contest of Champions, which is on Android and iOS, or like what was the other game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance? I'm like, it's Marvel. Marvel decides where it goes. And I'm just like, oh my god, and it's just like. But
honestly, without drawing that out, because I want to do a podcast with you specifically on that, because it was a backlash for Sunset Overdrive. You fanboys already know that's, Insomniac was like, hey, we didn't make any sales and screw the.
Right.
It is what it is, and there's been numerous reports on that. Argue with me if you want to, but as far as that, it's just hopefully folks can understand that's not good practice. It's anti-gamer, but it is what it is. You know what? Gotta leave it be. I'm probably gonna play it, but it just sucks that you're shoehorned or forced. A lot of people are like, oh well, why don't you just get another console? I don't want to. Like, I have it, but like, I'm just saying.
Right.
It is what it is.
It's like, for the person that may not have it, and if they want the game, then they will have to get the console to play it. But I just want to talk about, like, it's a big title that's coming up. A lot of people are excited. A lot of people are like really like pretty much blacked out from the internet because they don't want to be spoiled.
Yep.
I'm like, wow, that's pretty big. And then another title that's coming out, which I kind of this title that I'm about to announce, I feel like it shouldn't be released as close to Spider-Man. And it's Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which comes out on the 14th.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt it. That's gonna hurt it.
Yeah, I don't think that should have been released so close to Spider-Man. But on the flip side of that, that is multi-console. So
yeah,
out there for everybody to play it. And then we have Fist of the North Star, English version, North American version coming out in October, and I'm very excited about that. And I'm kind of glad that I held off of getting the
Japanese
version, which didn't have subtitles. But thanks to the fans, they pretty much
they're English dubbing that one for the West.
The English dub, yeah.
All right, so
I thought that was good. But go ahead.
That goes to show you, Arc Systems and all that. If they do a Fist of the North Star 2 or the fighting game and whatnot, the West has an audience for it. So shout out to Tough Nerd Toys. I know he will agree with me. Bring more Fist of the North Star, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that kind of stuff. Bring it to the West. People like the Japanese-esque type stuff, and stop trying to cater to the West by like turning franchises into semi-Western market style stuff like the Devil May Cry reboot. You know what I mean? There's people like things in their purest form. But Shinwar, for the sake of time, I'm getting an SOS. Do you want to go into that last topic with the all access?
Oh yes. Okay, so really quick, there were talks, and it is now official because I received in regards to Xbox Live All Access, which is you're able to. It's a subscription service with either the Xbox One S, which is $22, Alex.
It's
And the Xbox One X, I believe, is $32.
Yes. Now the savings you're gonna get is I think it's $128 over the life of the contract, of the 2-year contract that you commit to, with paying a monthly subscription to access to Xbox Live, Games Pass, all the extras, bells and whistles towards your system. So technically, like my Android S8 Plus, you're going to enter an agreement with Microsoft. You pay as you go for 2 years, and then you own your system. They're going the cell phone route with this, and then the same thing would be going towards an Xbox One X with all the extra bells and whistles. Now, that's a good entry point for some of the folks on the other side of the fence that don't want to, put the money up front. Like, let's say you're pro Sony. You're curious about Xbox. Now, this is your chance to do $35 a month. Jump on the Xbox One X.
Sound like QVC. Yo.
No, I'm just saying, now folks can get a little bit of everything and just pay as you go. Now, Shinwar made a good point where if you're entering this agreement, do you feel like you really own that device? Where, you got, the Games Pass. The games are on a rotational setup, right? If you want a game off of Games Pass, however, if you downloaded it during that time it was, on the system, you can purchase it at a discounted rate. So, you're not paying full price. Now, I know that some of the brand new games, unless it's first party, won't initially show up on Games Pass. So that's a drawback. But any first party titles that come from Microsoft, they will be available day one on Games Pass. So, I don't know. On your knees, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know maybe financially, that's probably why you didn't jump into some of the console stuff. But someone like you, who possibly hey, $35 a month doesn't seem like a bad thing for either console, or $25, or however it is to the S.
I heard a few things about this. So, is the consoles yours to keep after the contract ends?
To my knowledge, yes. Matter of fact, don't quote me on that. I'm going to do some research as we're going through.
What else does it come with? You said it came with a few things, right?
Xbox Live service, Xbox Gold service.
That's what, 15 a month?
Game Pass.
By itself?
Say again?
It's 15 a month per.
No, that's like $4 a month. Like if you pay for the year, it's like 60.
It's the price of a game, right? 60 for the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to do the math here. If the consoles,
and Xbox Game Pass is pretty much.
It's like $10 a month, and it's like Netflix, and you get access to a whole bunch of games for that month. Some games stay on, but some of the newer ones get rotated out. But it's literally like Netflix for games.
Yeah,
you can
it's like,
download them or
100
whatnot.
games. Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's 14 a month right there. Now the rest of it is going to depend on if you can keep the console or not. My understanding is I thought you could keep the console. I thought that was the whole point of this, but I haven't received confirmation on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm
So
actually reading up on this now. Wait, $34.99 to lease an Xbox One S. X.
Lease. There's your
That's the
keyword.
keyword,
All right.
lease. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so do
as reported.
Run as
So-
fast as you can.
So Microsoft's Xbox subscription service is now official. A store link where you can, get some of the information went live this morning. So you can actually do this now.
I got the email here. I'm looking at
Yeah,
it.
as reported by The Verge last week. What's that?
Did they tease this all beforehand?
Yeah.
It was,
Until like yesterday.
it was in the news. Well, not in the news, but like
Yeah.
an article.
Share more accurate numbers: $21.99 a month for the S and $34.99 for the X. All right, you have to commit to 2 years, but with that subscription, you get what we were talking about. In reality, this is more of a way to simplify the cost of owning an Xbox. By doing so, the company seems to be trying to incentivize, the gamers for coming into their ecosystem. I'm just trying to see. It says the lease. I'm trying to get the wording here that says that you're going to.
Is there a buy to own at the end of it? Sort of
Yeah.
deal?
Because with it being a subscription, I mean, even right now, I own Xbox One X, but
Yeah.
still, Gold,
And it's-
Xbox Live is still a service. Which, if I don't pay, they will shut off.
Is there?
Mhm.
And this is a 2-year agreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
So
I'm.
$792 for the term on the Xbox X. That retails for $500. So that's $292 minus $240 for the other one.
Our human
$50.
calculator here, guys.
Yeah, it actually breaks to be about even. So if you get to keep the system at no extra cost, it's actually pretty good. You only pay like $5 in interest.
Yeah,
I
I'm.
have a
But
feeling
you know
you don't
what's
get to
funny,
keep the
Chris?
console when you're done.
Yeah, but it's almost like getting a cell phone. So like now, a lot of companies, you can lease it.
Mhm.
You make
And then get upgrades and stuff. And you know what, Shinwar? That brings me to the next point. Remember, if they do another system in that time frame that you commit to this lease, will that roll over into another system?
Good
You know what I
question.
mean? So-
hey, my thing is, I'm the type if I can pay it off and pay it out right then and there, I'd rather do that and not have another bill that I got to be concerned about that they're digging in my pockets.
Yeah.
If I have the opportunity to pay it off and purchase it right there, I want to do that. I would like to do that.
Yeah, I'm actually looking in the comments. Make sure you check out theverge.com. That's where I'm sourcing the information. But it looks like they're not saying anything about owned, but a lot of people are okay with this. They're like, what, 2 years plus a warranty? Well, you know what? That's another thing. Warranty, is that covered? If something happens to the
it is.
console.
If you're leasing it, there usually comes with a warranty.
Alright,
Wait, hold on. I'm looking at the fact here.
Yeah.
On Microsoft.com, it says, "Can I return and to Xbox All Access after purchase?" It says, "With Xbox All Access, you are purchasing the console and the 24-month Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Live memberships in full immediately upon purchase. Outside of the standard Microsoft Store return policy, you cannot return or cancel the console or the 24-month Xbox Game Pass or Xbox Live Gold memberships." Whoa. So what I'm gathering is, if you decide to get it, you're locked.
Mm-hmm.
Is
So,
there anything about ETFs in there? What kind of termination fees we're looking at? Because the value's not that bad. Because I saw one article, but it
They
didn't
do have
account for the live gold pass and the other streaming service.
It says, "What happens if your console breaks down through no fault of your own? With Xbox All Access, you own the console and the 24 Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold memberships outright upon purchase. The Microsoft limited warranty covers the Xbox console for 1 year." Wow.
Oh,
so half the agreement.
Half,
Yeah. That's.
And it says, "If it malfunctions after that, the console owner repair call."
But can you say?
said out there,
Yeah.
but it sounded like they're responsible if it breaks after 1 year.
Yeah.
Hey,
If the-
pros and cons to this thing. I mean, because I know if you're doing like a warranty, you're paying for something out of warranty. It's like $60 or something, or 65. Because I had an out of warranty 360. For me, that wasn't much, but hey, you know, some people don't have 65 to spend on that. So
in this, you have to go to the Microsoft Store.
Interesting.
That makes sense for this. Which, to be honest, considering includes the Live Gold or Gold Live and the Game Pass, it's not that bad. I thought it'd be a lot worse.
If you have access to a lot, you're getting live online gaming and a bunch of games. That's like you have access to like a lot. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, there's more pros than cons, but some of the cons might deter some of us smart consumers. You know, so
I think this will really work out for a new...
Wait, Alex, did you lump yourself as a smart consumer?
I think it really works out for new users coming into the ecosystem, but
Yeah.
I think for its existing users, I think we're fine. Like it won't be no reason for me to do that.
yeah. This is
I
a new
think you're-
entry point for folks that, hey, you know what? I don't have that much money to link up, and you know what? For Christmas, you're gonna see a lot of these flying off the shelves because of this. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna start doing it now. Watch the October, November time frame. A lot of people are gonna do this and be like, bam, you know what? They're set. And considering, like, if they're doing that subscription every month, it's gonna take the ease of, oh, you know what? I don't have to buy them a game. They got Games Pass. They can play 100 games for Christmas or
I
something.
was just about to say that.
There you go.
Guaranteed games. You got
Yes.
guaranteed
Is there
games.
is there an option to pay it all up front?
That's a good question. Let me.
Will there be a
Yeah.
penalty for paying it up front?
No, usually it's cheaper if you pay up front, but even at face value, you're essentially paying for the value of the services that they're offering.
You know what? With something like this, I would just pay every quarter and then just shut it down and not be bogged down to that whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's the
here's
thing.
Here's another catch though. So let's say after the 24-month period, you do know that you still have to pay Xbox Live Gold and still Xbox Game Pass, because those are still subscription services.
based.
Unless they give it to you via redeem codes where it doesn't get tied to anything. You just scratch off, put the redeem code in front of your Kinect or something, or put it in Xbox.com.
But
Then
maybe in 2 years they'll have a yearly renewal discount.
That's what I'm saying. It's still going to be a yearly renew. That they got you.
Mhm.
If that person chooses to go on. So even still, they don't have to the Xbox, but to play online. And if you want those free games every month, you got to have Xbox Live Gold.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
Well, I got enough PC games. I don't need another console to play.
All right.
I
So
picked up Yakuza 0. Dying Light was on sale last week. I got the Game of the Year edition for $19. So I've been playing those two.
Oh, and wait a minute. Now that I see this, you know what they have? They say,
oh, you cut out, Shin.
oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said step 1, visit a Microsoft store near you. Step 2, choose your favorite bundle with Xbox All Access. Step 3, apply for a Dell preferred account and start playing with no upfront cost. Now, here's the thing.
Mhm.
People that aren't good with like financing and budgeting.
Credit check.
Well, yeah, and they said they're gonna do that. You do have to get. Do they have a? What says? Do I have to go through an approval process? It says yes. Complete and submit your DPA application to immediately find out if you qualify. So
Microsoft has taken risks and chances, and you know what? They're in a position where they're just like, hey, why not? And you know what? If this works out, you know Sony's gonna do it too, right?
yeah,
That always happens. It always happens. Microsoft. One day I will give credit where credit is due. It's not 100%. I'm not 100% behind this, but you got to credit them for even attempting this. You know,
Yeah,
because
they're trying to do the subscription model just like everyone else is, because that's where the money is.
and somebody said, "Oh, this is in a car." Well, hey, you know what? It's cell phones. If people are trying to lease a cell phone, this is no different. This is no different. You know. But I'm running low on time. I actually have to run in an errand. But I do want to thank Geeking Out. This was his idea. He brought the Juggernaut out from hibernation. You know, I've been dealing with like my other channel and some life stuff. But you know, to the Geeking Out audience, and on your knees. Thank you for showing up on, just as you did. We're gonna get back into the routine, but Shinwar, if you want to address your audience and the announcements from the Microsoft Store, you got the floor.
Yeah, so on September 22nd, it is a Saturday.
Oh, you're breaking up, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We heard September 22nd.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, September 22nd, be running a tournament at the Microsoft Store in Bridgewater, New Jersey, for Dragon Ball Fighters. We heard people requesting it, and so we want to bring it back out. So I just actually created the Facebook event, so it's public. So it's posted in various groups, New Jersey fighting game scene, and there's a whole bunch more event hubs and everything. So you can definitely show interest and state that you're coming, so that we know how many people to expect. So.
Free food, pizza, good stuff, fun times, and it will be streamed. Now, not to cut you off, Shin.
But you did.
Shut up.
Go ahead.
I need to take a survey so I can talk to the Microsoft Store. I know there's been a lot of pushback with me streaming on Mixer. I get it. I know you guys want me to stream it on Twitch, but I need to get justifiable numbers so I can get an exception to policy so I can put it on Twitch for you guys. So, yeah, if you're on the Facebook and you're looking at the Microsoft Store event, I really need that data. We have a lot of time to gather it so I can make, a pitch to say, hey, I can stream it or something, but I really need that data. All right. So, anything else, Jen?
Nope, that's all. Just make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. And thank you, Alex and Chris, on your names. Thank you guys.
All right. To New Gaming Order audience, I have not gone away. I just been doing stuff, like I said. Shout out to those who are in the chat, T-Risk, and the rest of the crew. And thank you for participating and adding. Tony Ritchie, thank you for participating in the chat. And the man, the myth, the juggernaut, I'm out hitting you with the head crush. And thanks you to all the team for coming together on short notice. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Take care, everybody. Bye.